Hello, what up guys, how you doing? It is Lasty here, welcome to Sunday, welcome to a new episode of the FIFA 22 Ultimate Team Road to Glory. Finger points to the sky for episode number 93. Hope you guys are all doing well on this fine Sunday. How did your football team get on yesterday? I'm curious to know. I wish I knew, because it would have made me aware of in advance if I should have gone away to Wigan or not. But that leads me on to the topic of that there may not 100% be a double upload later on tonight, just simply because I got to travel all the way up north and back again for my Saturday football, and then during the week I'm also going like 6.5 hours up to Barrow for an FA Cup replay, so I've just got to space my time out a little bit in terms of uploads. But if you could do me a favour and smash the thumbs up, 4,000 likes is what I'd absolutely love to see, and I mean, if I can get you the double upload, I most certainly will do it. So yeah, smash that thumbs up, and of course subscribe to my channel if you're new. 20 games of Foot Champs to go. All right, it's Sunday, so I know I needed to get started. I mean, it was Friday when I was playing these games, but the idea was to get 10 games played in today's episode, see where we're at in terms of like the halfway mark, and that will set us quite nicely up for tomorrow, where I can then open my rewards for you. So what you're about to witness is, of course, the Pele Masterclass, or the Lasty Disaster Class. We don't know which one it is yet, but as you can see, I do go 1-0 up. Pele then plays it through to Messi, good ball over to Benzema, and a really nice chest down and volley. It's just really good. 21 minutes, game one. Rage quit? Hey. That is things you absolutely love to see. So that is now a couple of weeks in a row where I haven't lost my very first game. Great stuff. That does somewhat worry me, though, because I know that typically I have a slightly better second half of the weekend league if I start losing quite a bit in the beginning. So I would almost rather that, because at the beginning your headspace is in a good place. Halfway through, when you've been sweating out these wins, you are like any tiny little thing can make you volatile and toxic, and that's most definitely me. I know I don't come across that way in the videos, but I guess you could go back on my channel in the slightly older days. Like, I've been doing this for a whole long time, a whole lot of years. There were some times back in the day where the language used to be a little bit fouler, and I used to rage quite a bit in my videos. But obviously, yeah, times change, and I try to be a little bit more normal and calm and sensible in front of you lot, because that seems to be, well, I definitely enjoy it more, that's for sure. Trying to play this game in a non-stressful way is definitely the way to go. I've had days where this game has ruined my day, and you know what? It's not worth it, is it? So this is my advice to you. If you're playing your weekend league games, do your very best to just try and keep your head and try and not let it get to you. And I certainly need to take my own advice as well, because there's been certain times during this weekend league where things have kind of got to me as well. But as you can see, we're on 9 points, which means we are 2-1. Okay, we've lost fairly early on, but it don't matter. I was expecting that, because all of these games are super hard against super sweats, and I'm 0-0 at halftime in this game, but both of us should at least have scored 1 goal. This guy maybe 2. In the second half, I made a change and brought Neres on, and it always does tend to make a little bit of a difference. As you can see here, Neres whips it into Fellaini, who I just put team press on, and he had just intercepted in a very key area and then pushed forward to be an attacker. So normally he's a DM, but that just meant that the substitutes worked perfectly there to get me a goal. Fellaini, or Fele as we like to call him, and of course Neres as well, who is just such a great player. I desperately need to get Neres into my starting lineup over Gelson Martins, because I haven't been loving the Portugueser, if I'm honest. Haven't been loving him. Haven't been loving Fofana either. So it would be very nice if... I mean, I have all my coins tied up in those players at the moment. We obviously got the Vinicius Jr. Player of the Month SBC. He is about 800,000 coins, and that meant that both of the tradable variants, or the informs and the blue version of Vinny, have all gone up in price, because 800k is a lot to put in for an untradeable Vinicius. Very good card, though, of course. And I don't know. We'll take a look towards the end of the episode about my investments, but I think the early suggestion would be that I'm not going to make loads of coins in terms of profit. He's a little bit too expensive to make the market go boom. In fact, a lot of people would see that price and be like, I'm just going to skip it because I can't afford it anyway. Which is not what you want. If he came out at like one squad less, 187 rated squad less, and it was like 700k or 675 or something, I think you would have seen a much bigger market increase for the fodder players, simply because there'd be a lot more people which is like, yeah, this is in my budget, and then it would actually push him over the 700k anyway. But that is just how the way the game works, and I think there were a lot of people like me who were invested, so obviously I just bought at a fairly bad time. It is what it is, and it doesn't look like we're going to make a whole bunch of profit, but I guess we can see. So this guy beat me in the 90th, played toxically all game, paused 3 times at the end to try and get me to quit, basically sat with all of his players in his own box the whole game and thought that he was the best FIFA player on the planet, but GG's nonetheless. And yeah, so I mean, like, this game is difficult. It's very difficult. It's very difficult when people try and wind you up to try and keep your head. That's the most important thing, is that people will try to wind you up. They will pause, they will message, they will do all they possibly can to get that little advantage mentally so that they win the challenge, win the battle. And unfortunately at this stage, I was sort of losing the battle a little bit because I found myself 2-0 down in the next game, just quitting. I know I've got loads and loads and loads of games that I can give away simply because we are after 8 wins. I know I was a little bit rushed this week with my games, but it's still pretty good, and I can still make it happen, I'm sure. But yeah, definitely not the sort of week where I'm looking to push on to 12 or anything. Also, in the background, I was watching some of the competitive FIFA stuff, the FIFA 22 Global Series, and I had watched it before, and I never got the token or the stuff that came with it because my accounts weren't linked properly, and then when I did link them properly, nothing ever came to my account. But then it said that they weren't linked again, and I watched another hour and a half to try and get the kits and the stuff and the swap player, and yeah, it didn't come through again. So I had to relink the account, and then I relinked it perfectly. Absolutely everything from both of the competitive Global Series events came through. So I've now got 2 tokens, and I can wear the FootWiz kit and stuff like that, which is really awesome. Because, of course, they are very, very, very good friends of mine, and we absolutely love FootWiz in these parts. And, of course, the FootWiz kit brings you extra pack luck. So for those of you that get it, put it on. You wait and see your walkouts. The levels. There are levels to this game, and wearing the FootWiz kit is certainly going to up you a little bit. So, I'm 1-0 up in this game at half-time. All right, so we're 3-3 at the moment. This could potentially put me 4-3. Scored a very early goal with Verratti, of all people. And then I brought Neres on, and he scored after 1 minute 50 seconds of being on the pitch. And I'm like, that's why I love this guy. He is just so much better than Gelson Martins. He's cracked. He's just unreal. So we beat that man with a very nice game attack. We beat him 2-0. He decides to quit as well. And that's been the case for a fair few of these games. Like either I've quit at 2-0 or they quit at 2-0. Sorry, I was just reading Twitter in the background. I should be focusing on my filming. Anyway, yeah, lots of 2-0 rage quits. That seems to be the not quite golden goal levels, but just 1 goal after that. So 0-0 at halftime in this match, and I'd had hardly any possession, but I just felt like I could beat this guy. And props to him for having a nice Bundesliga team that wasn't necessarily just any old team which had Fekir, Kimpembe, Benzema. And I know I take advantage of these players as well, but it is really nice to just see like a cool, like I don't think I've ever played against that rule breaker, Haaland, for example. Just a cool card to come up against. So I appreciated it from my opponent, but I felt like I was slightly better. Despite having like less possession, this guy was good on the ball and passing it around. I felt like I had more explosive, like, ability to actually score goals. And that's exactly what ended up coming to fruition. So I felt pretty good after the 1-0, and then they just kept flowing. And props to him, he didn't quit either. Always thought that maybe there was a little bit of a chance. I think at 85 minutes when I get the 4th goal there, that I think that settles it in reality. Like, that I'm gonna win. Like, even if you end up going through and scoring with your super sub, who actually was pretty good. I can't remember who it was. Toko Ekambi, I think. Yeah, you got a goal. But GG's to that guy, because that was quite a nice, cool Bundesliga side. You don't often see the full one league team. You often see the one league, or the one team full of French players, is pretty much what happens on this game, really, isn't it? And then we go into the next one, and oh my god, he's got R9, mid R9. So he didn't even get it from a base icon pack. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yeah. This was going to be tragic, wasn't it? But in the first couple of minutes, I whip a ball in with Gelson, and Eder Militao ends up heading it into his own net. And for one very short second, I thought, oh, is he just going to give me the win? But no, he actually did not mean to do that. And he just scored a legit own goal. So we carried on playing. I had loads of possession. Again, I felt like I could beat this guy. Being 1-0 up, I was all confident as well. And then he gets through, and it is Butragueno who ends up scoring the goal. I was doing such a good job at marking R9 out of this game that Butragueno ended up slipping through, and then Neymar ended up slipping through. And from 1-0 up, I mean, it wasn't even really me that scored, but to 2-1 down, and that's how the game ended. And I was absolutely gutted because I was holding the ball nicely. I felt like I deserved to win. When you look at it there, he has more XG, so perhaps he did deserve to win. But yeah, that definitely frustrated me a whole bunch. So I'm 5-4 now. And we'll go into what will be the last game of the episode. Come up against Benzema and Kante. Kante this week. So I know I've put on the thumbnail like Ginola, Salah, R9, of course. Difficult players to play against. And they really do make you focus on them as opposed to... so for instance, when I was focusing all my attentions on blocking R9 out of the game, and that's how Butragueno ends up scoring the goal, because there's just a little bit more space for him, and then my opponent figures that out after a while. But yeah, they're tough, but then you come up against these players, and I don't know, man, I'm 2-0 up here. I thought I was going to get the quit, and all of a sudden, the pressure just goes up, and he gets back into the game. Good moves from Salah there to cut me down and get the ball back, and ends up giving it to Benzema. Good composure here to not just shoot wide or shoot at the goalkeeper or shoot and hit the defender. And he gets it back to 2-2 for half-time. And I have to say, after having such a great start to this game, it was like night and day. It was like a switch had been pressed, and all of a sudden... he got 100% of his abilities, but before he was only playing at like 20%. Because this turned into a really difficult match, and I got battered. To be fair, after I went 2-0 up, I got battered. And he got back into the match. He kept, grinding and get back into this one. And he scores a goal. Yeah, I mean, it's a little cheap goal to Neres, but at that point I was like, well, I've lost this one, haven't I? My goal was getting peppered from the minute I went 2-0 up. So, unfortunately, I bottled a 2-0 lead. And we're now 5-5. So, here you go. Vinicius Jr. had been announced, but he wasn't out at the time I did this. So, he came out like an hour later or something. So, I thought, I'm going to list my players for what I would ideally love to get for them. About 4k profit on each player. That would be actually really, really nice. Hoping that he would come out with good pricing and therefore raise the hype, making the player prices rise. Unfortunately for me, none of them sold in the first hour. Actually, one Cancelo sold for 19k. I guess a lazy buyer. But yeah, I'm now going to go and take a look again and probably lower the price. I think at the moment the prices are really low, so that might be due to lightning rounds and stuff, but I will... If not, I'll probably just keep hold of them. I don't think I'll offload them just to take an L. I think I'll hold them because with a Christmas promo probably coming up, I guess we're going to make money on them. I guess prices will rise because there'll be lots of SBCs. I'm thinking that's the case. Who knows? But yeah, at the moment, it's not looking likely for a huge amount of profit. So 5-5. in the weekend league. You know what? I guess I'll take it. If someone said, would you like 5 wins from your first 10 games? As someone that goes for 8 wins, yeah, I would like 5 wins from my first 10 games. But as long as I can get 3 wins from my next 10, we're going to be all good. We'll get 8 wins, and I'll be back either later on tonight or tomorrow, depending on just how much time and content I've got made in between football matches and traveling like 6-hour drives up north and then back again. Oh, it's going to be a lot of travel for me in the next few days. So, yeah, pray for me. I hate traveling. I'm not so great at traveling. So, sitting in a car for that long is going to absolutely do my head in. But it's all for the great love of watching your football team play. Hopefully we can put on some good performances. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Smash the thumbs up button. 4,000 likes. I'd absolutely love to see it. Thank you. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Cheers. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Links are down below. Did I say subscribe? I think I did. If not, you know to do that. My mind's a little bit everywhere at the moment. Got so much to do. I'll catch you for the next episode, whenever that may be. Peace.